Crime family, I'm still here for this one. Are you new here? Hi, I'm Sierra. Make sure that you subscribe, ring that bell, get notified each and every time we upload. Yo, the number 13. Unlucky or lucky? Sound off down below. But what about the number 7? What about broken mirrors? What about a rabbit's foot? What about a four-leaf clover? What about the numbers 666? Like, do you believe in this universe there are things? What about black cats? Okay. What about walking under a ladder? Do you avoid that? Or do you just not believe in it? Any of that just superstitious craziness? What about 3:33 a.m. in the morning? Some people believe it's just 3 a.m., but just saying. What do you think about that one? Do you believe that's the witching hour? Do you believe that's when the worst of the worst can happen? So we're going to get into it today because Friday the 13th, honestly, is created in part by how unlucky the number 13 is. And it's just such an infamous day, especially now since the movie Friday the 13th has become such a huge, iconic, franchise. It is celebrated now. It might as well just be a national holiday. So let me give a quick explanation as to what is going on in the video. I'm right now shaping my tips and I applied them with base gel and I'm going to tell you why in a second. But right now I'm just bringing the edges into the very center line of that nail. And I use my file to hold it straight up and down on the nail bed to the nail tip to see where it is centered exactly out to the very edge of that tip. I want to make sure that my stilettos are centered and perfectly straight. So I just use my file to make sure that line is totally straight up through the nail right here. You'll see me do it in 1 second, holding the file right up and down long ways from the nail bed to the tip itself, just to make sure that I am bringing that very edge in and bringing it to the center. Once I make sure that I get that edge into the center, which you can do this with scissors too, but once I get that edge all the way into the center, then I put my file at a 45-degree angle, angling it up under the tip and bringing those edges in to blend. You can either go more extreme than this and make it even more pointed for an extreme stiletto, or you can just do almond like I did and leave it a little bit rounded out. You have to know when to stop though. And then I go in and I blend my tip. Now, I've noticed recently that my nails have been popping where the tip is being applied with super glue. Not on all of the nails though. It's only on the ones that start to grow downward. I have a few nails that once they grow out and get a little bit of a free edge, it actually starts to grow down instead of straight out. My nails, some of them don't grow straight out, they grow downward. So I applied my tips with base gel because they were popping and the super glue that was used to apply the tip, because I want the tip to go straight out. On the nails that aim downward, I ended up using more super glue to fill in that gap of the free edge that was downward on the natural nail and the tip that I wanted to go straight out. So all that super glue was deteriorating in hot water and over time, and I noticed that it was getting dirt and yucky stuff up under there. So hopefully base gel will help that. And I just applied it to the tip, applied my tip as normal, and just cured it before I let it go. Now, as far as the acrylic, I'm only using Ghostbuster, which is our milky white glow acrylic, and it glows this beautiful, brilliant blue. And I'm going to show you in the end of the video, so make sure you stay tuned to see how beautiful this glow is, because it seriously is just beautiful. It's almost like angelic or something at night. It's not like green where you would get scared when you wake up in the night and see it. It's like almost surreal how beautifully blue it is. Like, it's just so bright. So we're going in. We already applied our Dehydrate-her and Prime-Her from CriminalClaws. And now we're going in with our acrylic, which is Ghostbuster. And the application went really great, especially with our formula being so easy to use, you know, this being a different nail shape than what I was used to. I did end up getting the very tip a little bit too thick, but the rest of them, I mean, all of them, the tip was a little bit too thick for my liking on the application. It kind of threw me off a little bit, but I'm very happy with the way these nails are. They are super cute. It's not my favorite shape, not for myself at least, but I really love these nails. So let's get into this Friday the 13th kind of history, mythology, all of that, because it's really not that old for some of us. You know, the movie itself. But what inspired the name of the movie? It goes back way further. So the furthest back I could go for the unluckiness of the number 13 was a Norse god myth where Norse gods were in Valhalla holding a dinner party, and there were 12 gods sitting at the dinner table, and Loki was never invited, but instead still arrived, being the 13th guest, and ended up talking one god into shooting another god in the chest with a mistletoe-tipped arrow, which was poisonous to the gods. But hold on, kind of mirroring that story, during the Last Supper, it was told that Judas of Iscariot, I believe that's how I've heard it said. Judas of Iscariot was the 13th to sit at the table during the Last Supper. And we all know who Judas is. He was the one who betrayed Jesus. So you have in Norse mythology, Loki sitting down at the table as the 13th guest. And then in Christianity, you have Judas sitting at the table as the 13th guest. So I honestly believe this is where the origins, or at least looking back through history, and I think if you ever go through life, you realize certain numbers end up popping up day-to-day life. In your day-to-day life, certain numbers tend to get repetitive and you notice them. So I feel like with historians, they're going back through history and they're looking through history at all of these stories, and they're noticing a kind of a common theme of the number 13 consistently just popping up and being a horrible factor. Like whatever it is going on with that number 13 is just bad. So somehow every time, if you let the man tell the story, it's going to make the women look crazy, right? They're going to throw us under the bus every time because they could do no wrong. And it's always just women being crazy. So the number 13 is revered as unlucky and bad. Tell me why they decide to coincide the number 13 with women's menstrual cycles. Tell me why. So women have 13 menstrual cycles a year. And actually, Chinese women in their culture offer up mooncakes to the lunar god. And the great goddess actually believes that the number 13 is lucky. But with the Chinese culture and the women offering up the mooncakes, they make sure that there are 13 mooncakes on the platter. And the number 13 is supposed to represent lunar potency, fertility, just things to do with the woman's cycle, things that are supposed to be good with her cycle to make sure that she's able to bear healthy children, right? That she could do her job, pretty much. Let me just say these men got a lot of nerve to throw us into that mix. Like, that just pisses me off to no end. But whatever, because we're not going there. Look at how cute these nails turned out. They are so adorable. I don't really love the shape on me, but it did turn out on point. I love the shape. I just don't like it on me. So I'm going in with a matte top coat to get ready for all the nail art, which I chose a simplified nail art. I didn't want to do like intricate designs this time. This was really a last minute video. I realized last night that Friday the 13th was today, so I was like, let me do a set real quick so I can post it to IG and hopefully it will blow up and I'll like go viral and become famous, right? Nah, yeah, okay. This is the 13th. Friday the 13th. let history tell it. I'm gonna start my period and it's gonna be just a bad day. Probably nobody is gonna see that post. But anyways, let's get back to these cool facts. All right, so I don't know if you guys have ever watched Apollo 13, the movie. I have watched it, I think, when I was really young, but I don't remember it. But I do know some facts surrounding the actual launch from NASA with the Apollo 13 mission, and that so many things went wrong with that mission. They really did not think that the Apollo 13 crew was going to make it back. So, during that Apollo 13 launch, there was so many things associated with the number 13, like it being Apollo 13. Apollo 13 launched March 11th, 1970. That is 411. Add those together, that equals 13. That's kind of a reach, so that gets on my nerves. Apollo 13 would launch at 1:13 p.m. Houston time, which is in military time 13:13. From there, the crew would reach the moon's gravitational pull on April 13th. But despite all the hardships facing the crew, and God bless that crew because I hate outer space, it's one of my irrational fears, and we're going to get into an actual irrational fear here. But I seriously have this irrational fear of space. I hate the idea of space. It freaks me out to no end. Just being out in space and there's no sound. No sound. You'd be totally alone. And if your suit ripped open, everything from your insides would be pulled to the outside. Your blood would boil and nobody could hear you scream. Nobody. Because sound is not going to travel in literal void. Space is void. Literally. It's evil. Okay? God bless those astronauts. So, oh wait, here. I'm going in with my Savvyland gel pots. So I'm just using black, red, and white from Savvyland gel pots. So, there is actually something called triskaidekaphobia, right? That is the fear of the number 13. And Winston Churchill was actually afflicted with triskaidekaphobia. And he would not sit in the 13th row of a flight, in a theater, nothing to do with the number 13. And then also on that list, Christopher Columbus was afflicted with triskaidekaphobia. And then Napoleon was conflicted with it. So these people have this irrational fear of the number 13, which I don't blame them because I am seriously so scared of space and like I'm ever going to go there. It's never going to happen. Like, why am I so scared of space? Like, I don't have to go there. But I really can't even watch like space movies without cringing at the possibilities. So yeah, God bless them people. Also, the 13th trump card in a deck of tarot cards is the card of death, which I don't believe that is bad luck because in death means rebirth, kind of. So just because you get the death card pulled on you, I've been told that it's not such a bad thing. That could mean like it's the death of your crap car and you know you're going to be getting a new car. So it's like the death of struggling fixing like your car all the time to get to work. It's not just literally the death of you. But because people don't really understand tarot, I think they're going to put a lot of stigmatism to that there's going to be a lot of bad stigma. And since the death card is the 13th trump card, boom, you got bad luck. Also, something super creepy though. A hangman's knot is wound up 13 times. It has 13 knots to be sturdy enough to hold the weight of a person, but yet break their neck. So a knot of any lesser value, only 12 knots, or 12, what happens is when the hangman is tying the knot, he winds it around 13 times. If you've ever seen a hangman's noose, you'll know what I'm talking about. It has the wound around rope around the length of it that holds the weight, right? It's like wound around the bottom of the knot, and it's wound around 13 times. So I guess Woody Guthrie, who is, I think he's a country singer, I'm not sure, but I know he's country. I know Woody Guthrie is country. I know there's like a lot of Guthries that were country because I grew up country. My papa loved NASCAR, the king of Elvis, the king, and, Earnhardt. He loved Earnhardt. Yeah, so I grew up country, but, oh, God rest my papa's soul. But anyways, so Woody Guthrie was stated to have said, if you ever watched a hangman tie a knot, he winds and winds and winds and winds, and he winds 13 times because any lesser of a knot wouldn't, oh, I don't know what he said, just whatever. It's any lesser, just 12 winds wouldn't do it good enough, I guess. Whatever. Oh my God, frigitriskaphobia. Okay, I just found this. Just found it. It's the fear of Friday the 13th itself. I did not know that. Oh my God, people fear everything. Good Lord. But the Friday the 13th actually has a serious condition associated with it. Frigitriskaphobia. Got it. Nah, I don't know if I said that right. I didn't write it out. I just looked and then tried to say it real quick. Okay. So aside from all of the blood and everything else, I hope you guys love this video. I think this was really fun just for Friday the 13th and as a last minute thing. I love me some black cats. I think they are the prettiest cats in the world. I love me a black cat, especially if they have like that little white design in the middle of their forehead. So cute. Luna from Sailor Moon, my ideal cat. If I ever see a cat that looks like Luna with a little moon, a little white moon in the middle of its forehead, it will be mine. I don't care. You better not bring me around a cat that looks like that because it will be mine. I love me a beautiful black cat. Black Panthers, oh my God. Ooh, have you seen those pictures of pit bulls that almost look like panthers? Oh my God, those are so beautiful. Okay, here's the set. I love you guys. I broke a mirror for this. I don't believe in superstition, just saying. Love you. I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.